everyone. Happy Thursday.
How's it going?
Going good, my man. How about yourself, brother? How's your week been?
Doing all right. It was a little weird because we had some really nice temperature days, like in the low 60s, and then yesterday was like 34, or no, today was 34 and super windy. So it's just like as soon as you get used to the cold weather, it gives you some nice warm weather to get you unused to the cold weather, and then it makes it cold again.
Yeah, gotta love springtime, man, and that's the way it is here in Idaho. I mean, it was freezing cold, then it got really nice and warm, and then all of a sudden started snowing. Like, seriously, what is going on, guys?
The weather's about as bipolar as the market, it would seem.
Pretty close. And we're going to talk about that, but I want to say hi to everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. And let's see who we got in the audience. We got Abdul, first here. Love to see it, brother. Thank you.
Love the commitment. He's always first.
He is. I actually got in trouble once with him when I posted a link before he did. He's like, wait, I'm supposed to be first. Like, sorry. It's just my channel. I don't. So I bow down to the man. So Rosalind, my dear, always great to see you. Thank you, dear. Hope Giver, hello from Idaho. Yes. Hi, Mom. Welcome. And hey, look, Cyril's here. Hi, Cyril. We got Funny Toro in the house. My man. How you doing, brother? The cafe guy. Welcome. Hello there. Favorite music, mustache, and all the crypto. Aw, thank you. Yes, I even trimmed it today just for you, man. Looking good. And BTK, brother from another mother. Good to see you, my man. And Rooster made it. Waha! Good. And saw a lot of names on the voting, so should be a good dance-off today.
Nice. Yeah, BTK almost didn't make it today. He was supposed to be over at his parents', but it was super windy yesterday, and it blew a ton of like trees and branches and stuff all over the place, both there and here, and I think at some point we were having like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Damn, that's crazy, man. It's you never know what's going to happen, and on top of that, not only is nature going sideways and weird and chaotic, the markets are too. I mean, it was down a couple days ago, then it spikes through the roof, and now it's we don't know what the hell it's doing. What is going on? The news is screaming about ETFs and all the hype of all these things happening. So, Cyril, tell us what is happening out there, brother.
Yeah, so this BTC pump that we had yesterday, or was that today? I don't know at all.
Both.
Okay. The BTC pump that we were having. So BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, it had, I believe it was like $8.5 billion of trading volume. So it's because of the ETFs, right? And we knew that this would happen when they started talking about the ETFs, because let's break things down a little bit. We're gonna take a step back from the crypto space, and we're going to talk about regular markets for a moment. And I want to explain why the stock market behaves the way it does, because that's going to help you anticipate what Bitcoin is most likely going to become in the next 5 years or so. Okay. So all of these big money management firms that you hear about, like BlackRock, Vanguard, etc., the bulk of the funds that they manage is from retirement funds, right?
Yes.
So the way that it works, when you have a company and they have a retirement fund, right, they send the money, your money, to companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, and the fund manager for the retirement fund, they're in charge of picking the fund manager to give the funds to. That's it, right?
Okay.
And then the fund manager, BlackRock, Vanguard, etc., they invest the money. Okay. Now, it's also worth noting, and this is a whole nother conversation. You can go do some deep diving research on your own if you find this interesting. But what they invest in, BlackRock and Vanguard, is determined by an AI, an algorithm that was created in 1988 by Larry Fink. When BlackRock was created, BlackRock started as a tech firm, not as a fund management company, right? So now that we understand the reason why the stock market basically trends up, and if you look at any major company, the top single holding of shares is typically either BlackRock or Vanguard, and the second one is either BlackRock or Vanguard. They own pretty much everything, and that's because they're charged with investing trillions of dollars. The assets underneath their management increased by $2 trillion last year, and that does not account for asset appreciation of what they already had. This was fresh money. Okay.
This just new money coming in, $2 trillion?
Yes, because think about it. Globally, they manage retirement funds from across the world, right? That's all of this money from people's 401ks that is getting pumped into the market. And that is why the stock markets trend upwards year over year. They'll typically move up anywhere between as little as like 6% to maybe like 13% on a good year. But that's why. When we have a down market, it's either a catastrophic news event that really scares people, and so they pull their retirement money out, or they pull their money out, right? Or you'll literally see cycles, typically with when generations start retiring, right? So like every 16 to 18 years, sometimes every like 20 years, you get a down cycle, and that's them cashing out their 401ks, right? Now that we understand the way the market flows with that and why the stock market trends upwards from the investment firms taking fresh retirement money and putting it into the market because it's got to go somewhere.
Right.
Now that Bitcoin has tradable ETFs with said companies, it is now included in what they have to keep putting money into each year. So the problem is Bitcoin isn't like a stock company that can just do a share split when its price gets too high. Oh, Austin, you got 3 miles left. Okay, if you don't do those 3 miles, then I'm going to post a picture of you that I have from our time at the fire.
Ooh, oh.
Go ride those 3 miles.
That's some motivation right there, buddy. Get see
motivation for him. He doesn't know what picture it is, but that's for me to know and him to guess. So
he probably didn't remember. It's like, what was I doing at the fire?
He probably didn't. Anywho, back on topic. Yes. So they have to now pour this money into their Bitcoin ETF, which means now that's constant buy pressure. But unlike Apple, where they can just do share splits every time their stock gets too freaking expensive to buy, I think they've done at least 5 share splits, I believe, since their inception. Mm-hmm. And Bitcoin can't do that, right? So work through your head, what's going to happen with that, right? If you have constant buy pressure and you can't make more of them, really, it only inflates at 2% a year, something like that, with the block reward, whatever, who cares, right? But they can't make more. They can't just do a share split.
Yeah,
over time.
That's parabolic. That's insane.
It would wind up going parabolic, yes, which is why I keep telling people the cycle is broken. Okay, the 4-year cycle that you're used to with bear markets, bull markets, and being able to load up during a bear market to cash out at a bull market, that's over. Okay, in my opinion, this Billy corrected me. So 0.8% inflation after this upcoming halving. I think it started off at 2 and then it keeps reducing. Either way,
okay.
Lost my train of thought there.
Parabolic movement.
Yes.
Go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll ask you a question.
Go ahead, ask the question.
So let me ask you then, because one thing we've talked about before here is the rainbow charts. And there we go. So let's bring that up real quick. So, I mean, this rainbow is kind of flattened out at the top. So up until the ETFs, this was kind of the preconceived notion. Now, how does this new change modify this expected pattern that people presented a year, 2, 5 years ago?
Yeah, so the cool thing about the rainbow chart, and if you guys do use the rainbow chart, make sure you're using V2, not V1. V2 is adjusted for some different metrics. So if you look at the rainbow chart, because it's logarithmic, yes, the curve like flattens, but with a logarithmic curve, it's going to do that. Price-wise is still drastic increase between where we are now in the yellow band and the red band there, right? It's a whole hell of a lot more of an increase than it was last cycle between the yellow band and the red band. So bear that in mind. It's actually much higher. It's just squished down so you can see it better. It's kind of like if you were to look at, you ever see a picture where it's just a circle and it's like a picture of the universe, and it starts off with our sun at the center, and then like it fades out, looks kind of like an eyeball. You ever seen that?
Right. Yeah.
That's a logarithmic picture of the universe, right?
Okay.
So bear that in mind. And I would agree with what Austin said right there in AC Trades, that logarithmic rainbow bands are self-fulfilling prophecies, right? But that's the thing. So are patterns on the charts that people trade. Cup and handles, head and shoulders, they're all self-fulfilling prophecies that work because that's what the algorithms look for. So you look for that, and then you start trading it, and you wind up triggering the algorithm and making it happen, right? So bear that in mind. Now the rainbow chart, the red band, I believe at like January 2025, the red band sits somewhere at like 120,000 per Bitcoin, which is like a 2x from here.
Yeah.
Right.
I broke it.
So what I would say is it's not necessarily a good indication of where we may be going, simply because the old model has been broken, right? You previously with Bitcoin, you would see parabola crash, and that's because essentially retail traders held control, right? They held the majority of the supply, and you can see in DeFi, right, what that looks like when retail traders have the majority of the supply, right? They will, when it parabolas, they will sell, they will dump it, it will crash. We saw a little bit of a teaser of how this is going to change during the last bull run we just finished prior to this bear market, because we started seeing an increase in companies purchasing up Bitcoin and pulling it off the markets, right? What this does is it's reducing the free float. It's reducing the amount of Bitcoin that's available for purchase. So if you have 1,000 Bitcoin available for purchase and you purchase one, it's going to move the price 0.1%, right? Logically speaking. What happens if there's 10 Bitcoin available and you want to buy one, right? It's going to move the price 10%.
Right. Okay.
That supply squeeze, that's what causes parabolas. But the problem is, if an ETF is the primary driving factor, it is not retail traders that are then going to be turning around and selling it, especially if it's a firm like BlackRock or Vanguard that's primarily managing retail or retirement money, right? That's not people who are holding it for a swing trade. That's people who are holding it until they're getting ready to die, right? And want to have at least like 3 years of fun before they're too old and infirm to enjoy it.
Right, exactly.
It's what we have to look forward to. Let's be realistic. So they're not going to be dumping it the same way. And we saw that during the last bull run, right? Instead of having that run up and then a parabola crash, it was stretched. Like that was the longest bull cycle we had ever seen for Bitcoin. And that's because more institutional money has Bitcoin now. Their share of the supply is growing, and this ETF is going to continue soaking up share of the supply, okay, which is going to essentially act as forced price appreciation for Bitcoin.
Right. But now, isn't that also going to remove in the next bear market, because there will be a bear market eventually. In the next one, does that mean it's not going to get near as far as our pattern has shown in history?
So That's my belief, right? We saw Bitcoin come from, what was it, like 60, 68, like close to 68,000 last bull market, down to 17.8. I think some exchanges showed it a little bit lower than that. But that percentage wise, okay, so it shed like 3/4 of its value, right? Previously, in bull to bear, we'd see it shed significantly more than that. Like, let's take a look at the 2017 cycle, where its top was right underneath $20,000. Its low was like 3,300, that bear market, and that's a significant difference in percentage, more than 75. Like, 75% is impressive. It's nothing to sneeze at, especially when it's coming down. But that additional percentage beyond that, again, logarithmic, it matters that much more, because you have to recover that much more to get it back. If it goes down an additional, if it came down 75% and then it dropped like an extra 10% overall from the high, that might be another 50% drop, right? So then you have to double your account just to get back to where it was at 75%. Anywho, semantics. What I'm getting at is that there's not going to be much supply in the hands of retail traders to then dump when it goes up, because they're supplying constant buying pressure from the ETFs. 8.5 billion yesterday, like.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, what the heck? What's going on? It was insane.
So I am not really thinking that we're going to see a bear market quite the way that we had previously. Would it come down 20, maybe 30%? Sure. Are you going to have some swings as volatility slowly tapers off because they wind up having too much of it? Yes. But the volatility will reduce, and over time, I believe you're going to wind up seeing Bitcoin move more similarly to the Dow or the S&P 500 or gold, right? It's going to settle into a more TradFi style movement pattern as they start soaking up more and more of this supply. But ride it, enjoy it, trade it. Yeah. Futures.
Exactly. And so that brings about the question. You've got Ethereum ETFs that are trying to get approved, things like that. Do you think that would those be a better investment? Because Bitcoin has done a sizable pump already. So if somebody's just getting into it, would it be better to look at maybe an Ethereum versus Bitcoin, or maybe one of the other blue chips for bigger gains than what you would see on Bitcoin? What do you think?
Well, it's always important to diversify anyway, right? Again, diversification is protecting wealth, not making it. However, it's still important to at least split what you have across a couple of things. You're not getting a whole bunch, but 4 or 5 things. That way you're reducing your risk exposure, right? I think that yes, Bitcoin has done a pretty decent run up. Yes, we are near previous all-time highs. Is it a good time to buy it? I don't think currently. I think if you're still following your DCA, we talked about this last episode and the episode before, it's still okay to DCA into a blue chip, especially when you understand the situation that we're facing, because this isn't what we're used to. This isn't like it was. The game is changing. TradFi is coming in. If you're not familiar with how TradFi operates, now is the time to do so. I know a lot of people here in DeFi don't have the TradFi expertise that some others do. I know I came from TradFi and it was harder to learn DeFi than it was TradFi. But make sure you familiarize yourself with it. Understand the money cycles. Understand why they move the way they do. I know a lot of talk has been going on right now about alt season, right? Because Bitcoin has been pumping. Typically, alt season starts when you get a daily cross of the 50 moving average and the 100 moving average on the daily chart for Bitcoin, which just happened yesterday. So maybe alt season starting, or it could just be this is just the beginning, right? Because we started from a much higher base. and the situation is changing. Nobody, myself included, expected it to see 60K again before the halving. Okay, I ain't perfect, right? There you go. I actually wound up losing a trade yesterday. I did a futures trade on Matic, and volatility nabbed me. It did a spike down. You know that spike yesterday?
I saw that.
That spike down got me. It hit my lick, and then shot up. It went the way I wanted it to, but momentary volatility got me. Happens.
Right, it does. And so, yeah, I mean, things are looking different, and the entire DeFi world is changing drastically. So, I mean, that's one thing to take into account. But now we've got all these other blockchains coming out, the layer 2s, layer 3s, the EVMs, the bases. All this stuff is starting to come out, and there's a lot of hype running rampant. And so a lot of newer investors are saying, hey, maybe I should not do the blue chips. Maybe I should do this other new thing that's just coming out. And it gets crazy. Is there really anything new about the D-Pins or the new ZKs or bases or any of these other chains that we should be keeping an eye
on? So I'm trying to figure out how I can do this without breaking the rule that I set for this particular live stream. And yes, Austin, I agree. I don't think it's done. I really don't. I think it's probably going to consolidate here for a bit, let the MA50, potentially MA100 catch back up on the 4-hour chart, and then it's probably going to keep going, right? It's just a matter of being aware of which directions it can go, preparing for either, and managing your trade correctly. You don't have to be right the majority of the time. You just have to manage your trade correctly. But anywho, so stuff to keep an eye out in the DeFi area. Let me put it to you this way, and this isn't a shill, because I think I only own like $20 worth of the token, and they still have a long way to go before they'll be ready. But keep an eye out for any kind of blockchain or protocol that is working on increased encryption for blockchain transactions. Something a lot of people in the DeFi space don't bother to pay attention to is the leaps that science is making in regards to quantum computing. Okay, they can successfully create a quantum computer that operates at room temperature now, right? Super expensive, but that's going to greatly increase the speed at which these start hitting the regular consumer market. And as soon as the first quantum computer hits the consumer market, your current blockchain encryptions are not sufficient.
Oh, okay.
A quantum computer can break 2K encryption, which is what blockchains use.
Right.
So be advised, we have another like 5-10 years, I think, before quantum computing feasibly becomes realistic. But that's when us here today should be trying to be first movers, right? We should be looking for the protocols and the technology that is looking to build the infrastructure necessary to combat against quantum computing and the threat that it does pose to blockchain, right?
Yeah, and that's a real important thing, because we're seeing the tech is advancing insane. It's moving quicker than DeFi or crypto or anything else is. And so it's one of those where we've always got to look at what can that affect? What are we doing now? And how's that's going to be affected in the next 5-10 years? Is it safe? Whether it's your finances, whether it's your personal information, whatever it is, things are moving insanely fast. And so being a first mover is very challenging. Now, if you guys want to talk about that more, definitely jump to the Discord and let's share some ideas. Let's talk about it there. And if you got any inputs or advice or things that maybe you would like us to keep an eye on it, throw it down to the Discord. Love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I had something else and I lost it. I knew it was here.
What'd you lose?
I don't know. There was something else I was going to ask you, and my brain just hit a brick wall again.
Oh, so what you lost was your train of thought.
Basically, yeah. I lost the whole damn trade. It just didn't stop. I lost the thing. So, and that's the thing is right now, this is when, we've got Bitcoin pumping through the roof. We've got people looking at altcoin season. We've got new projects and new technologies coming out. And it gets very confusing on where should I invest? What should I be doing? And so, Cyril, what's the best way that you handle all these different things and trying to keep this information straight and stay on your path of investing?
Well, I try to block out the noise. So if you are receiving tips or your news from your Twitter KOLs or your influencers, that's noise. Okay. There is always an agenda there. There's always I pre-positioned myself, so I'm trying to tell everybody else about this so they'll buy it and then I can sell for a profit. That is always the situation. There are no exceptions. Okay. Right. Please remember that. So block out the noise. Don't pay attention to what the news is saying. Don't pay attention to what the KOLs are saying. Do your own research, right? Be advised of what articles are coming out. Like, do you go and find the news, right? If you're getting your news from freaking any kind of mainstream media or any kind of Twitter, whatever, or social media, that's all noise. And is going to interfere with your analysis because that stuff is going to be ping-ponging around in the back of your head. And you'll be like, oh, man, I thought it was going to go up, but this guy said that it's just going to go down, right? And then it goes up, and you would have been right.
Fair enough. And, yeah, because that's one thing we're seeing a lot of. Right now there's a lot of airdrop stuff going around. And I'm even doing a bunch of farming on airdrops. Like, hey, if they're going to give me free money, why not? Use social media links, do this, and if they don't, well, that's fine too. It didn't cost me anything. So, biggest thing there is be careful, guys, because yes, things are hyping up, and it's just going to get worse. We've already seen this. A little bit of pump has created absolute chaos and hysteria out there in the social media platform. It's gonna get worse. So, pick a path. And you know what? If you have questions you want to talk to the community about, great. Jump to the Discord. Let's share some thoughts. Let's bounce them off each other. And the great thing about this is I can go to Cyril and say, hey, Cyril, I've been thinking about this, and he will tell me straight up, dude, you're an idiot, or, that's not half bad. Mostly it's the idiot part. But, me personally, I respect that. I like the harsh reality because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the excitement of this is going to make me millions, and this guy said it was going to be awesome, and it looks good to me, but sometimes getting another opinion can only be helpful. And even if you don't agree with it, that's okay too. You don't have to. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So speaking of opinions, I would like to find out exactly how many people shared their opinion with us this week.
Yes. Do we have a scroll bar?
I don't think so.
So close.
Actually, you know what? I just realized. Okay, it's over to you. I forgot to open the screen. My bad. Oh, whoops. There is one thing. I knew there was something I was going to throw out. I found my train. Found the whole train. One thing I'm running into, voters, everybody out there watching, I need your help on something. If you're voting, make sure to jump in the chat somewhere. Say hello. Introduce yourself. Anything. Right now, over half of our voters are just ID numbers because you haven't actually chatted in the Discord. So do me a favor. Say a post of hello or hi, my name is so-and-so, or I'm just here, or how's your day going? Anything you'd like. Say something so it will populate the Discord voting poll so I don't have to spend an hour and a half trying to figure out who you are, please. I don't want to miss anything.
Yes. If you join the Discord to vote so you can enter into the dance-off and stuff, that's okay, right? But if you don't actually say anything, then it doesn't know, it doesn't populate the username. So yeah, do that.
Exactly. It gets very frustrating. Yeah, I spent almost an hour going through. It's not a lot of people. It's just you have to copy the code, paste it over here, do the authenticator. It's like, okay, click here, and then it gives me the name, and I paste it back into the thing. It's just a whole lot of steps I'd rather not do if I could avoid it.
Yeah. No kidding.
So, okay. There we go. Paste the screen. Ha! I did it. And I don't think I shared the audio, so I'm going to remove this because I didn't share it to begin with. Sorry. My bad. And guys, I am so sorry. the computer nightmare over the last week. I had to completely wipe and reinstall, and I'm still trying to fix things. So,
Okay, you're forgiven then.
Okay, thank you. All my normal things do not work normally, so everything's whacked out. So I do apologize.
Had to deal with that before. I get it. So
it's painful. You don't realize how many things that you have saved in different places. So one recommendation on all your investments out there, make yourself a spreadsheet or something to keep track of them. Because if, like I did, I had it on a local account, it was not saved at the cloud. When I wiped it, I lost a bunch of my bookmarks. So guys, be safe.
And what is this? A list of names for ants?
It is. See? Like I said, everything is weird. I'm zoomed all in.
Well, I know what's wrong. Okay. I'll help you fix it after the stream real quick. Yes. Basically, you are using a very high display resolution, but you have not scaled the text within Windows yet, or the icons. I'll show you where that's at.
How'd you know? Yeah, it's amazing how many little things we fine-tune without even remembering it.
So we do have a scroll bar. It's just it hasn't scaled the names appropriately because they're like midget status there.
They are, and it's not letting me zoom in. So guys, sorry about that, but either way, we're going to try this. And we cannot do a dance-off because we have too many. We have more than 24. That's a good thing. So now, as you guys know, all you have to do to be a part of this dance-off is go into the Down Home Crypto Discord, cast your vote on any blue chip and DeFi project you want, and if it's not on there, add it in. Tell us about it. If you do add something, jump down in the channel that says discuss the vote, share your links, your opinions, whatever you like. Dump whatever you got in there, and love to hear about it. So, thank you to all the voters out there. And without further ado, let's find out who's willing to dance or actually wiggle. We're wiggling today. Okay, that's it.
Wiggle for Warbucks.
Yeah, hey, that works.
Since we're not dancing for dollars, we can wiggle for Warbucks.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay, so it's going to get gruesome. Are we ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, big one. And
money, no whammy.
Wiggle, wiggle.
That's a lot of them. Holy cow.
Let's see. And yes, I am in there. And if I win,
oh no,
I had $10 to go again. There I am, right there.
I think Rose and Roostar just got. Oh no, there's Rose. Roostar got taken out. Oh, bye, Rose.
Bye, Rose. See, stop calling people's names out. You get killed. Oh, that was good.
I didn't say anything.
You did that time. Sorry, JC.
Oh.
Hey, I'm still alive. Leave me go.
Wow, speedy boy.
This could be a money game here. Dodge that way. That was close. Akita, Hades, Abdul's still in there. Emu's still in there. Lost Man.
Danfo's still in there.
Danfo's gonna pop. Oh, Danfo pop. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, there goes Serenity.
I'm dead. Ooh, Funny Toro just missed it. He's still kicking. Oh no!
Oh, ooh, Abdul.
Abdul and Abdul. Yes, Abdul! And you were flashing. You were gonna blow up. That was so close.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Abdul. As you guys know, if you become a winner here, all you have to do is shoot me a DM in the next 24 hours on the Discord. So jump in there, shoot me a DM, and let me know where I'm sending your winnings to. Now, also, just to let you know, it might take a couple days to actually send those winnings because I have to wait for Wild Angel. So plan a couple days. Don't expect to get right that second. But thank you so much, and also make sure to cast your votes. Well done.
Good job.
Yeah. See, I think Abdul's taking Chrome's spot. He's on a winning streak, isn't he?
I don't know. Did he win last week?
Who won last week?
I don't remember who won last week.
I don't remember, but I just thought, no. It wasn't Abdul, but maybe it's just because Abdul's always here.
Dude, I was going to say, I hardly remember what I did yesterday. I made the mistake of getting Hell Divers 2. And all I see now is bugs and terminids. Roostar won last week.
Roostar did. Okay. Hey, that's right. Roostar did. I knew somebody did. I knew it was one of my favorites. And I got so many favorites. It's hard. Yeah. You're all my favorites. I can't pick just one. So, awesome. Congrats. Love you, buddy. So definitely cast your votes, guys. The poll's open every Thursday morning. I create a new poll, and it runs all the way until Wednesday night. So it gives you a whole week to cast your votes.
Cafe. I see. Yeah, Cafe guy. I'll shoot you a DM. I made a Helldivers 2 Discord server specifically for people looking to squad up and play. So, anywho, I have our portfolio to share with you guys.
And this pump has got to be making things juicy. Are we ready for this? I don't know. You guys got to let us know if you really want to see what our portfolio is doing. I mean, we're only putting in the price of lunch, so I mean, how good can it be, right?
Don't tease him like that.
Come on. Okay, fine.
All right. So, as you know, we started our journey a bunch of weeks ago at this point with $25. We had the entire bear market to contend with all throughout here. We had a couple up days that were quickly erased the following week. But then the market slowly started shifting. So this week, we started off with $1,181.83. We finished the week with $1,274.28 for a gain of $92.45, or 7.26%.
That is impressive.
We begin next week with $1,299.28 after adding our $25. Our portfolio as a whole is currently up just shy of 25%.
Nicely done, everyone. And guys, remember, that is your choices. You guys voted for this, so great job. Man,
this is what your portfolio would be doing if you were doing the exact same thing and picking the same stuff that you're already picking for us. Right. Following the same rigid set of rules, right?
Yep. There you go. And so, guys, for nothing more than literally a peanut butter sandwich, you're choosing to eat a peanut butter sandwich one day a week instead of going to McDonald's or buying pizza. That's it. And you have $1,200. How do you beat that?
It's pretty tough to beat that, I would think.
Me too, yeah. That's a $1,200 peanut butter sandwich. I'm good with that. Thanks.
Well, our portfolio we discussed last week is pretty well balanced. If BNB hits 500, I would like to convert half of this into stables, half of the BNB. And then I would say wait for a little bit of a post-halving pullback and put that into BTC and ETH evenly. If you guys agree with that, then in the Discord, in the discuss the vote, I want you to say yes to BNB at 500, right? If you agree with at $500 BNB, we take half of it, convert it to stables, and then sit on that as cash to take advantage of a downturn. Because remember, we started buying BNB when it was at like 248, I think, during the bear. So it's up. At 500, it'd be up 50%. Now, the kicker is that rule set was for DeFi, not blue chip.
Right.
However, BNB, I don't think has quite the same potential now that most degen projects are no longer launching on Binance. Last couple bull runs, the DeFi degen protocols were launching on the BSC network. This is not the case anymore. I personally do not believe that BNB is going to benefit at quite the same rate as the other blue chips when alt season comes out. If you agree with this analysis, again, feel free to do your own research, please. Go in there, mention in the discuss the vote room, and ping me when you do it, right? That way I know to check it and count the votes. Because again, this is you guys. This is all you.
And that's a good point. And so in the alt season now, we've seen a lot of new things pop up, like we talked about earlier. Which blockchains are you seeing most of these new DeFi projects starting to launch on? Is there one that's dominating from the rest?
All over the place. So that's the problem right now, is there's a lot of new stuff coming out, including new blockchains. And so what's happening is they're going around to the different blockchains that have a lot of hype, and they're just launching there. Like, I know there's one that I think it's supposed to go live tomorrow, or it might have gone live today. Blast Network. Yep. Now, I personally have zero intention of putting any money over there, but that's a new one that's very hype, right? There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of projects waiting to launch on it. A lot of potential scams waiting to launch on it, right? So just that's the problem with trying to chase the new networks, is new networks, new people, not new, but it's the same old shit dressed up in different clothes. So definitely be just as critical of new networks, of new protocols, etc., as you are of anything else that you're doing research into. But I know that's one that's pretty hype. I know there's one that's coming out near the end of this year that, when I last looked, had already had like 140 something thousand people in the Discord. Like, it's ridiculous. No invite competitions either, so it's all organic. So yeah, keep your ear to the ground, right? But I just don't think that the BSC network stands to grow at quite the same rate, because DeFi projects were essentially what grew the BSC network, and now they're not really focused on it anymore.
That makes sense, and especially with the news coming down, we had the whole CZ drama and all that. And, I mean, they got kind of a black eye, so I could see that.
To be fair, though, that's why we were buying it, right? Because it was double suppressed, and hey, we made some good money on it, right? It's the first blue chip we have to come close to 2xing since we bought it.
Nice job, everyone. Yes. So, yeah, definitely be safe out there, guys, because there's a lot of hype, a lot of craziness.
Yep, absolutely. And then there was, I forget what. So because it is a big chunk of our holding, 26.9%, I wanted to real quick also share the how that large holding of ours is doing. So let's real quick touch base on that. All right, so this is the low risk KKF report, right? As you can see, it's been doing great since its inception. This is what the starting value was. This is what it was when I updated it a little over an hour and a half ago. 30% up. As you can see, it's primarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, Matic, and then a spattering of like DeFi infrastructure protocols. Gold is there to act as the anchor, right? So we've got double exposure to gold, both from our C Gold holdings and our KKF holdings. And that's why I was okay with previously I would step in if you guys were voting too much for one thing, right? I'm not stopping you guys on that one simply because it's already split up, right? It's already diversified. It's not too much of any one thing. If anything, the Matic here is what might make it a little risky because our portfolio has 11.9% of Matic. But that's the only overlap there, really, with our current portfolio.
Right, and so because you look at that big wedge, and that's cut into 10 pieces because that's how many different things that's invested in. But now, some people might be watching and say, well, Cyril's only saying that because he created it, and so some people in the audience might be thinking that. What would you say to him?
I would say I have some of my own pocket change in there. I make up like $6,000 of the TVL. just because it's a great spot to DCA. It's a tool. It's not a project. It's not a product. It's a tool. And so I use it. If you don't want to use it, don't. That's okay too. You know, because the nice thing is it's basically just 10 different assets, and instead of buying them individually, you can get them with one representation, so it's easier to keep track of.
Exactly. And yeah, I would have to agree, but at the same time, I wouldn't be doing the channel service if I didn't ask the hard questions. So
absolutely,
I got to put it out there.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing, guys, in your research, never be afraid to ask the hard questions. That's the most important thing you can do. Even if you have a chance of upsetting somebody or maybe insulting them, ask them respectfully, but straight up ask them, like, well, are you just hyping this because you make profits off it? And if the answer is yes, well, hey, at least you asked. And if the answer is no, find out what is good about it. So never be afraid to ask those hard questions.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And remember, as soon as you're an adult, you can't get in trouble anymore, right? You don't get in trouble with another person. Yeah, sure, you can piss them off, but ultimately, how does that really have any kind of weight on your life? It doesn't, right? So as long as you're not breaking the law or, you know, getting in a physical altercation with someone, like, you can't get in trouble with them. So ask the question, you know, say the thing, speak up for yourself, whatever it might be. Worry less about getting in trouble, right? And just do what you need to live your life. So
absolutely. And you know, I can tell you straight up, being an old guy like I am, I respect somebody who comes to me face to face, says, hey, I heard this, I think this, I believe this. You know, what's your take? Somebody who will confront me with the facts and get it clarified. I respect that. That takes courage. I have pride in that person. So yeah, never be afraid to do it. The good people will absolutely respect you for it.
100%. But speaking of people, I want to know what the people chose for this week.
The People's Choice Award. I bet you did.
Award in DeFi?
Hey, it sounds good. Leave me alone. I don't know.
All right, I'll leave you alone.
Hey, look, I got big fonts on this, and I don't know. Is anybody else really awake? I mean, it's been kind of quiet. I see congrats, Abdul, and yes, congrats, Abdul. Make sure to DM me before the next 24 hours. Don't forget. But I'm really curious. What do you think, Cyril? What blue chip do you think our community chose?
Well, I know last couple of weeks they picked Bitcoin. I don't know. Bitcoin, maybe? Again? Or did they pick something else?
I clicked.
Did you?
Oh, there we go. I didn't do that. Wrong button. So, my experience feed. No. Cyril is not correct on his guess. Today, our community picked Ethereum.
I was off by one vote.
It was close. I know it was like neck and neck. I'm like, oh man, that's damn close.
Hey, when I last looked, it was winning, okay?
You know, and I think this is great. I think the fact that our community is picking something other than what is being hyped right now, to me, that shows that they're paying attention. They get their ear to the ground. They're thinking for themselves. I think that's great, because have you guys ever noticed you are not choosing what is being hyped? You're choosing what you feel is right. And man, I'm proud of you guys for that.
Yeah. Well, initially they started off doing that, right? Like, we would buy something and then it would drop the next week because that's what was hot that week. And right. It seems to me that our community has kind of caught on to a little bit of the cycle. They had us getting Bitcoin before it pumped. Now they want us to get ETH. So maybe ETH pumps next.
Okay, note to self, go buy Ethereum. Got it. Okay, I give you that.
So that's called FOMO, and that's called listening to an influencer. Stop that.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Wait, does that count if I am the influencer I'm listening to? Is that fair? How does that work?
That's a good question.
Yeah, chicken or the egg kind of thing. I don't know. Either way, so guys, this week you chose Ethereum as our blue chip. Good choice. I like it. I think both BTC, Ethereum, I think both those are solid choices for long-term holdings. Nice job. And once again, our community came back and said the Cure Crew Fund, low risk. With a pretty sizable vote there. 15 for the low risk and 10 for the medium risk.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, people spoken. I guess that means I'm transferring another $25 worth of the KKF out of my personal wallet over to the.
Send it on over. We like that. And
We're taking my KKF.
So
the money comes from somewhere.
Exactly. Just so you guys know, if you're in either the KKFs, both of them have been producing really well. For the month, low risk is at 30.49%, and the medium risk is at 20.7%. So, and either one I think is a solid investment. So I'm proud of our community for making those choices.
Yeah. It's done well for our portfolio. I will say that much. I mean, we have at this point, let me see, we have, oh my gosh, we are 0.01 KKF away from having a full 2. And then we have 12.38 KKF. And it's been doing really well for our portfolio. So I'm not complaining.
Not at all. And now I want to, and I don't want to do a show, but I want to do a clarification here because we know that both KKFs are running on the Cassandra DAO platform. Now, they just started staking or something. Can you give us any information? What is that, or how does it affect the KKFs, our investments?
Okay. Yeah, so it actually will affect our investment, and it will, when the vote passes, I believe, because they are a DAO, right? It has to be voted upon. They are going to be allocating some of their platform's token to staking rewards for KKF and AKKF. So we'll be able to take our KKF receipt tokens, stake them, and earn free KC token, which they take revenue, which they earn from my ETFs and other ETFs on their platform, and they buy and burn the KC token with it. So considering that my ETFs make up more than 50% of their platform's TVL currently, I think that we'll be in pretty decent shape to scoop up some of the KC token and add it to our own portfolio simply by taking our blue chips within the KKF and staking it. Then we'll earn some KC. You can add to our portfolio just like we did with the mass token, right? To earn more mass. And then we should be in good shape.
I like it. And yeah, BTK says, I'm hyped. Been voting for KC token. I think I agree. BTK, personally, I've been buying a little bit of KC, putting it on there, and it's on the voting board. So, man, jump in the discuss the vote and let us know. Why should we start getting some of the KC token and putting that to work for us? Love to hear your thoughts there, BTK.
And just for the sake of disclosure, I personally, right now, let me give you the exact number. As soon as I connect my freaking wallet, 1 second. I have some KC token. I have it for the purpose of doing DAO votes. All of my KC token is locked. I have it locked up so that I earn like 3 times voting power, strictly for the sake of passing this vote to bring the staking rewards to KKF. But I do want to disclose the fact that I have 15,979 KKF. Because again, if I'm sitting here talking about something, if I own some, I want to disclose that. Mine are currently locked for the voting rights so that I could vote for this proposal.
Good to know. And, that's an important factor. A lot of people don't realize this. We're going to tell you what we've done, what we've got, and where we stand. I've got a little bit of KC, and it's locked in there for the 3 weeks, and that's it. But mine's a little fixed. But remember from our earlier episode, we talked about the black cards. So we're letting you know that. That way, if we decide to sell it, you're not blindsided. Because we're not going to play favorites. We're going to play the game the way it was meant to be played. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch one of the earlier episodes where we talked about all that. We broke it down. Because there is a pattern and a strategy to everything financial. And we're not going to change that pattern just because, Cyril's my friend or something. Doesn't mean I'm not going to sell my bag on it. I absolutely will. I'm going to let him know right after I do. I was like, dude, I'm out later.
I let one of my friends front run my purchase because my bridge finished before his, and I was buying more than he was. So I said, all right, go ahead. Get your buy-in. I'll let you charge me more to buy the same thing. But yeah, so it's we try to be good with that. I was just getting it for the sake of voting for the proposal, but still, yeah, be aware of, if someone's telling you about something and they're not disclosing what they have or how much of it they have, I want you to take a couple steps back, right? Because I've been behind the scenes with enough protocols from my consultation firm. I have watched, right, as their marketing guy, or they'll hire an influencer and they'll give him like 1% of the supply, and then he'll shill it, it'll pump, and then we see him immediately sell it right afterwards. He literally sells it on to his own followers and then blames it on the protocol, right? And that's the kind of stuff that a lot of these influencers do. So be aware of that.
Right. Exactly. And so that's one thing we're trying to teach you here, guys, is I'm going to share information. I'm going to do my videos, things like that. And I'm going to throw content out there. But I always warn you. I always tell you, am I getting part of it? Am I investing in it? What do I believe in it? The biggest thing is, remember, make your own choices. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to this guy. Do your own research and decide for yourself if it's right. Now, if you find something that you believe in, awesome. Share it with the community so we can all win together. That would be amazing. And if not, you want to keep it a secret, that's okay too. Biggest thing out there is be safe and decide for yourself, because only you know your situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a lot of things out there that I wind up finding really early into their development, but I'll sit there and I'll wait. I won't buy, right? And I won't share it with people because I'm waiting to see, is this something that starts off strong, where they start development and start working all that, and then it nothing, right? Or is this something that's actually going to become something like the one that I touched on earlier, just in regards to like quantum blockchain? I'm not sitting here really talking about where it's at, links, or anything like that, because I'm still watching it, right? I know that there's more they need to finish building before I would be comfortable sharing it, talking about it, etc., right? So definitely, it's okay to watch a protocol as they're developing. If you catch it early, you don't have to just be like, oh, I'm going to toss a couple $100 in because I don't want to miss it, right? Or whatever a lot of FOMO tends to do. Just because you're early doesn't mean you're early to something good, okay? So bear that in mind as well. Stay safe out there. The market's hot. A lot of people are going to start screaming alt season. I don't think it's technically time for that yet, but I think they're going to force the narrative. Don't get caught in the narrative. You'll get caught with your pants down, okay? Stay hyper-focused on the fact that we understand what's happening with the stocks, or like how stocks move because of retirement money. We understand now that Bitcoin is accessible by retirement money because of the ETFs. So we understand that. We understand it's too early for an actual bull run to start technically, right? We're higher than we should have been, yes, but this is what I would call the ETF effect. Okay. Retail still hasn't really caught on. But the fact that Coinbase crashed yesterday, when the markets pumped the way they did, tells you something very important. It tells you that that price increase was enough to trigger retail trader attention. Okay? Because Coinbase's servers got overloaded. Big companies, big money, they're not using Coinbase. Okay? They may have them as the custodial whatever, I forget the exact term for it because my brain is tired. Too many terminids.
There are bugs everywhere.
But the halving, we typically see a minor sell-off after that, right? So there's just a lot of factors at play. I don't think it should be alt season yet. But again, that's my personal opinion. Maybe that's the narrative they want to push, but be aware of the behind the scenes. Like, this is why it's going to move the way that it's probably most likely going to move. And be aware that there's other people who are going to try to change that narrative to match whatever they're trying to sell. Okay. So just keep that in mind. One of the hardest parts of crypto pumps is separating the crap from the gems, right? because so much of it floods out when the markets turn green.
Exactly. And sometimes we don't even know what the gems are until much later after the hype's died down. And it's the ones that still survive. So biggest thing out there, be safe, do your research, and decide for yourself. Now, if this is your first time here, if you're just learning about rags to riches or this entire journey, hey, go back and watch the earlier episodes. If you know nothing about blockchain, I've got a whole series called Zero to Hero. Go down and check those out. They'll talk to you about everything you need to know, setting up wallets, blockchains, and it's constantly growing. So I've got a lot of information out there if you're just starting out. And I want to say thank you for tuning in, for everybody who joined us today. And, biggest thing, let's stay safe. Let's keep building. Man, it's getting great.
Absolutely. And, be sure to stop in tomorrow for the Freaky Friday show. I unfortunately will not be here. I'm sorry. But
that's it. Cancel. Server broke it.
I'm sure plenty of other people are going to pop up and have a good time. And it's always a fun time to hang out. I'm kind of sad I'll miss it, but I have some prior engagements I need to take care of. So, but thanks everyone for tuning in. Congratulations again, Abdal, for winning. Be sure to go cast your vote for next week because the new polls are live. And if you want to be in the dance off for a $10 prize, get your vote in. Catch all you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.